Hello and welcome once again to this Red Gaming Tech video. Myself and Marta, where as always I'm here with the latest news from the tech world in the last 24 or so hours. Today we're going to start off the proceedings with some less than brilliant news for Intel. Now I'm not going to talk too much on the backstory surrounding this. Intel's supply issues have been well documented and they have been going on for basically what feels like an entire human lifetime. And according to the Taiwanese ODM Compal Electronics, those shortages are not going anywhere until at least the beginning of 2020. Now this is all thanks to a report from DigiTimes, which you will find linked in the description below this video. Now that's not all the report has to say. It also states that we are going to be seeing a bit of a drought when it comes to notebook shipments as due to the US-China trade war. And many ODMs are still considering moving some or all of its production out of China in order to reprieve this. So obviously this is not great, but it's not the end of the world, assuming it is early 2020, like sort of January, February sort of time, because obviously it's already mid-August somehow. Don't know where the year's gone, to be honest, but obviously we are seeing the slow introduction of 10nm. They're obviously going to shift completely over to that fabrication as time moves on. And obviously they're making big moves in their manufacturing business, trying to expand it with expansions in Ireland, Israel and Oregon. So we should start to see it ease off as the pressure on 14nm eases with the gradual release of 10nm and obviously the expansion of their manufacturing processes as well. So as I say, you will find it linked in the description below, the DigiTimes report, but we're going to move over now to AMD as we have a couple of listings from freedesktop.org. So what we have here are a couple of listings that show a couple of different things. So the first of which is a patch which has been spotted, and it shows AMD Arcturus. You can see I've helpfully highlighted it down at the bottom of the screen, and you can see that we also see the mention there of Vega 20, which is rather interesting. Now, we also have an absolutely huge list, and I do mean huge list, of stuff relating to Navi 12. Now also in the second listing you will see some mentions as well for Arcturus in the same breath as Navi 12. So basically we just have a metric ton of patches here. It will take me way too long to go through all of them, but the ones we care about are mostly sort of grouped near the top, but still. More fuel for the fire that we are going to be seeing something about Arcturus soon, and also of course Navi 12. But that's not the only AMD piece I have for you today. I've got a bit of an update regarding the whole situation with Lisa Su. Now you may recall quite recently there was a report discussed by, or shall I say posted by WCCFtech.com, basically stating that according to their sources, Lisa Su was going to be leaving AMD to basically go over to IBM, who she actually used to work for back in the day. Now Paul has actually done a lengthy video on this, on her history and what she's actually done for the company and the huge impact she's actually had on the huge comeback that they've had over the last couple of years. And there's a reason that AMD are known as the comeback kings, and Lisa Su is a huge part of that. So obviously people were understandably concerned that she might be leaving. Now she was quick to deny these rumours on Twitter, but we now have a tweet from Usman Perzada, who has pointed out that Lisa Su has gotten a very well-deserved retention bonus of 25 times her annual salary. So you can find the source for this in the description below this video. It's a rather lengthy legal document, not really all that interesting, but it does prove what Usman is talking about. So this probably means that she's not going anywhere, but it may mean that she was thinking about going somewhere. And AMD were like, crap, we can't lose Lisa. Obviously she's a very talented woman. You know, IBM would be lucky to have someone as skilled and experienced as her. You know, AMD has really flourished under her leadership. So obviously they would prefer not to lose her if they can avoid it. And 25 times her annual salary, well, I'm not saying that's the reason they gave it to her, but it probably was like, okay, you know, she deserves a bonus. She's done really well with Ryzen and blah blah. And we also know she's thinking about leaving, so let's just, you know, give her a nice little bonus package and make her reconsider. That's just my theory, of course, but this probably means either way, regardless of the reasoning behind it. Obviously, I'm purely speculating, do not have any sources on why they've done this or anything like that. that this probably means that Lisa is not going anywhere. And to be honest, cool. You know, I wish her the best success in no matter what she does. You know, I'll continue to follow her as a CEO, as a person, because she's very interesting, but clearly a very, very intelligent person. So I look forward to seeing what else she does in the future regardless, but I'm pleased to see that she's going to be most likely continuing over at AMD, of course. This is not to say that she's never ever going to leave the company. Obviously, at some point she probably is going to want to move on, but for now at least, it seems, judging from this at least, that her position is safe for the moment. So let's move over to Nvidia next. So basically what we have is there is yet another new graphics card en route from Nvidia, which is going to be a Turing architecture based card. Now for those of you who prefer to read rather than listen, you will find an article that Paul has written over on our website, which is linked in the description below this video. You can also find it over at redgamingtech.com, and it should be the top results at the time of recording. So, obviously, we've had the release of the RTX Super Series cards, but there was a glaring omission from the lineup, that being, of course, the RTX 2080 did not get its own, 2080 Ti, should I say, did not get its own Super variant. But it seems that might actually be changing, possibly. There's a few different options as to what this could be, but let's talk about the reason for this segment before I get too bogged down in speculation. What we have seen is a TU104 core has been spotted on Ada 64. And we see Nvidia GeForce RTX T10-8 TU102. So obviously it is a Turing card. The TU means it's Turing. That is 100% confirmed. But TU102 is the same core that you can find in the Quadro, 2080 Ti and Titan cards on the RTX formula, should I say, sorry. Now obviously Nvidia have already said previously in an interview with Tweaktown that they had no plans to release a 2080 Ti Super card. But that probably meant plans at the time. Plans can absolutely change. They could have been like, you know what, actually, we can do a super card. Maybe they thought they couldn't do it, that would actually be worth the price. I don't know. But, for example, a 2080 Ti Super could have more CUDA cores. We could see the number go to 4608 instead of 54352, as Paul himself posits. And of course, we could potentially see a higher clock frequency as well. So as I said, there are multiple options as to what this could be, and the other ones I've kind of already said. Yes, this could be a 2080 Ti Super. Awesome. It could also be, as I said, a new Quadro card, and it could even be an RTX Titan Super. But if we were to see a 2080 Ti Super, what improvements would we actually see? Well, as I've already said, we can see them crank the clock speeds up, and we could also see an increase in CUDA cores, I've already mentioned, but we could also see the full 384-bit bus being used, and we also saw on the 2080 Super, just for example, an increase in the GDDR6 memory versus the vanilla variant, so we very well might see that come into play as well. I think that if Nvidia can do the 2080 Ti Super, then they absolutely should. It's very possible they're going to do a new Quadro card or Titan, as I've already said. I think a Titan would also go down pretty well among certain circles, but I think a 2080 Ti Super would go down quite well. The main concern on that one would be, of course, the price. The 2080 Super is, of course, $700, whereas the 2080 Ti Vanilla is $999, so it probably would be around that sort of price tag for the Ti Super, given that the 2080 Vanilla versus Super is exactly the same price, as we see that reflected across the 2070, and the 2060 Super is only slightly more expensive than its predecessor, $50 more expensive to be exact. So we're probably going to see it around the $1,000 mark for the 2080 Ti Super, and obviously Nvidia have already come under quite a bit of criticism for the high cost of the Turing lineup, so they might think that it's not actually worth it versus the profit they might make from it. It's obviously going to be a very enthusiast level card that not a lot of people are going to be able to afford. Obviously, with the other cards, Super is still fairly expensive. So, you know, $700 for the 2080 Super. You're not exactly going to find it down the back of the sofa, but it is prices performance is much better than the Vanilla. The Ti, you can not make that argument as much, given that we are going to be looking at probably $999, or potentially even above that amount. I'd love to hear your thoughts though, guys. If Nvidia were to release a 2080 Ti Super, would you purchase it? And if so, or if you consider it, what sort of price would it have to be, realistically speaking? Obviously not just going to give it away for penny sweets on the street corner. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. As always, your support is highly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.